Good.
we saw each other too.
Would that do any good if you complain?
It would not.
It would not, right? At all, at all.
Hmm.
And I see you. I see you moving and shaking on social media.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, what are
Yeah.
some things that have been going on? Because I know you have your networking event that you do,
Yes.
and
December
so
19th.
yeah, yeah, and it's in the city, right? Of course.
Well, we do it different times, different places. So the last one was in the suburbs, and what is that? Homewood, and then now we're going to be in the city. So January will be in the suburbs again.
Do you know what suburb?
Um, Not yet.
Okay.
We have to secure the
Okay.
location.
Now, when you secure these locations,
Hmm.
is there a cost involved?
Usually it's not because it's a collaboration.
Okay.
So we bring people to the space, and that's their sponsorship.
Got it. I'm going to do everything I can to make it to your next one, the one in
Yay!
January. I
Okay,
need to because I
it'll be the
am
fourth Saturday in January.
the fourth Saturday in Oh, a Saturday.
Hmm.
A Saturday is more doable because usually they're on Thursday, right? Or they've been on
Right. So
Thursday.
they were on Thursdays all year 2024. We've seen that conflicts with other networking events on
Mm-hmm.
Thursday nights. So we
Right.
decided to have it on a weekend. So we're doing it every fourth Saturday from 6 to 8 instead of every fourth Thursday in
I like that.
2025.
I
Mm-hmm.
like that. I like that. So I want to welcome you to Word for Word.
Thank you.
And I want to say congratulations because you are a budding entrepreneur.
Yes.
And with our How Money Works movement, there are three brands under what I do. There
Okay.
is Wealth Wave, which
Mm-hmm.
is the marketing arm of what we do. So they do our websites, they do all our marketing material, they do all our presentations.
Mm-hmm.
How Money Works is our financial education system. So it's the flow that we use to teach people how money works. And there are 7 steps in that process. There's 7 milestones. They're called the 7 money milestones.
Mm-hmm.
And then our third brand is E to E. And so I have the shirt on E to E, but it's really showing people how to go from employee
Mm-hmm.
to entrepreneur.
Oh, okay.
And it's very easy for people to say they want to be an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
However, until you really get involved in it, there are
Yeah.
so many moving pieces
Yes.
that a high percentage of people who say they want to become an entrepreneur and then they attempt to, they quit
Yes.
because they've been conditioned to work that 9 to 5
Mm-hmm.
and they've been doing it for a long time. So it really works well. Our business does for those who are, let's say, have been in corporate America for several years
Mm-hmm.
and now either need to make additional income or
Mm-hmm.
they want to transition their career because they've hit a ceiling. Um, they really have learned the ins and outs of what it means to work in corporate America. Like you
Mm-hmm.
have no control,
Right.
right? Your paycheck is a trade for your time.
Yep.
And what that company's vision and mission is, that's what your vision and mission is.
Yes.
And have you ever heard of the golden circle?
Golden circle. No, but it's
Yes.
something I need to know.
Yes, Simon Sinek. So you need to go on YouTube and check him out. But he is
Simon. What's the last name?
Sinek, Sinek.
Okay.
And so he is an author, public speaker. I don't know if you want to call him a coach because he's on a major level,
Mm-hmm.
but he developed this thought process called the golden circle.
Okay.
And so what it identifies is when we decide we want to take a particular path with our career,
Mm-hmm.
that golden circle has to be what you truly love
Mm-hmm.
because you could have a mission for yourself personally of what you want to do with your life,
Right.
and the company that you work for is going to have a totally different mission.
Mm-hmm.
And so when those two don't align, that's when it's time for you to leave that corporation because now you are jeopardizing your realness as a person because you're really doing something that you truly don't love or you're not aligned with that purpose or cause
Right.
and you become disgruntled. But a lot of people will get stuck working for a company for 20, 30, 40 years
And they're
because
miserable.
they're because they're in love with the paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you talk about what you do? And you are the founder of Golden Angel Management. And I will tell you, whenever I'm looking for your phone number, I want to say Angelisa Golden. I'm like, no, that's not her name, but that is so spot on, right?
Yes.
So talk to us about your company. Where did the brainchild come from?
Mm-hmm.
Where are you today? And where do you see your company in the next 5, 10 years? What's the big vision?
Of course. So, starting with the company, and how I got started with it. So, Golden Angel Management is a business development firm, and we started in 2015 with the birth of my son, Golden. His name is Golden because he's my golden child. I wasn't able to have children, and so I was always passionate about business in terms of business operations, business sales, business, um, just everything about how to deliver a product or service to someone and help them solve a problem. I just love that idea, and I loved all that included in it to make it happen at a higher level. How we can be better at delivering this product or service to your target customer, and all the things in between. What team members would be best for it, what's the process that could be better for it, how can we be more efficient and effective. I was just always obsessed with that process, and I didn't know what to call it except management. It's what I've always just been naturally gifted to do, naturally gifted at organizing, naturally gifted at attracting people and uniting them for a common mission and vision, as you said, right? So, starting in the nonprofit sector at just age 13, when I was in eighth grade going into high school, I volunteered for a nonprofit called Fishing Buddies on the south side of Chicago. And I stayed with that organization until I was 21 years old. And
Wow.
in that time frame, I really understood the ins and outs of growing a business and operating it efficiently. So I was able to literally fall in love with the process of work. So I never thought I would be an entrepreneur. I thought I was just going to stay with this company until, I don't know, forever, right? But they were a nonprofit, so they lost funding, and I had to, of course, work somewhere else. And that is when I found the magic skill of sales. I transitioned into financial services, selling insurance for Allstate Insurance. And I was blessed and fortunate to be in the top 10% in the region out here in the Midwest by the time I was 25, really understanding how to educate people about how to properly protect their assets, and do so to a large group of people with a very specific process. And I started training and helping other people to do the same thing, my sales process. And that's how Golden Angel Management became into fruition, because I was doing it to just help people. Like, I was just helping people who needed help with management, is what I called it. So if you had an event that needs to be managed, you had this large, whether the event was personal or business related. So you wanted to do a networking event, I help you manage it. If you had a wedding, I help you manage it. I just always thought it was management. So Golden Angel Management was born there, with me just helping people. And at the time, my then person I was dating, he was a music artist. He was a creative artist. And so I was like, you need management, right? I saw it as a business, and he saw it as him just doing what he loved to do. And I was like, well, if we add some structure to this thing
Mm-hmm.
that you love to do, then we can blow up. And to be great. And he did attain a lot of success. And he was like, you're really great at this. You should just do it full time. And of course, that ended up being the start of Golden Angel Management. And we, here we are now. We've transitioned since then to only focus on financial service industries, like insurance agents, realtors, attorneys, and things of that nature. But that's how we started. We've transitioned and grown, and now we are, on the south side of Chicago. We have 2 locations and a team of 5 people so far. So, yeah, that's my
Good
story.
for you. Good for you. Now, so you work with small business owners.
Yes.
So what are some of the common challenges that you face or that they face and you
Mhm.
help them overcome?
So, one of the main challenges that I see is that entrepreneurs have been told this lie that they believe that they can be what people are calling serial entrepreneurs. So that they're saying that they can operate multiple businesses at the same time, but none of them are generating enough revenue to operate without them being there. And that's one of the main challenges that entrepreneurs face who are looking to grow a business, right? They're like, oh, I'm an accountant. I'm also I have this boutique, and then I also sell insurance. And it's like, you need to do the one thing and let that business grow to six figures or more, or when it's operating without you having to be there, and then you can move on to business number two. So I feel like that's one of the main challenges. It's just fractured focus, that they just have their focus just in so many different places that they're not seeing the growth that they really thought they or even envisioned that they would achieve, because they just don't have the focus. So that's the main, I feel like that's like the top challenge that I see.
Yeah, I think and we were just talking about our different brands and the ETE, that's one of the pieces of that training program, if you will. Is you can't do multiple things at one time if they're not associated or connected.
Yes.
Because now you are, and spreading yourself too thin is not the word.
Exactly.
However, you need to focus on the one thing that you are the best at. And once you master that, and it is running on its own for the most part, and then you can step back and decide what's the next move, because that business will run by itself because it has a system.
And there is a system and there's a process, but I also see that in doing this work with business owners, there's 3 levels of entrepreneurs in what I've been seeing, right? So you have your startup entrepreneurs, and these are entrepreneurs who have not generated enough revenue in the business to truly call it a business yet. It's more of a passionate hobby, is what I like to call it. And that's level, like the first level that we all get to at first. Like, we're not generating that much money, but we really are passionate about this thing, and so we're gonna do it, and we're calling ourselves entrepreneurs, right? So then you have I call it the startup, right? You have the startup entrepreneurs. Then you have the next phase of entrepreneur, who's like in the middle, where they are operating, they're generating revenue, they're making enough money to pursue this thing full time, and they're getting their bills paid with this business, but they haven't hired anybody else or built a team yet, right? So those are what we call solopreneurs, right? They're doing it, they've built this brand, they've built this business, they're generating revenue, but they just haven't reached the level where they can truly hire another employee or team member to help them take the business to the next level, right? And those are my solopreneurs, and they're probably generating 6 figures, a little under that, but it's just not there yet to where they can like expand the way they want. And then you have the third tier, which is the small business owner, where they are generating revenue, they're making sales, they have a team, they probably even have 1 to 2 locations, but they still have not reached the level that they want to make yet. And so I've seen that at different levels, there's different problems, right? So when I say fractured focus, that's only a problem generally with the first 2 tiers. The third tier, that's not their problem usually. Their problem, when they have scaled the business, they have multiple locations, they have a team, and they actually have what we call a business, where the business can operate without them because they have team members to operate it, but they still haven't generated the success that they truly envisioned or desired when they started the business. Their challenge is generally lack of processes in place that are systemized, documented, and simple, that they can easily delegate, and also lack of processes and systems, but then also lack of proper team members. So the team members that they have, they aren't what I like to call CWC, meaning they can do the job, want to do the job, and have the capacity to do the job that they were hired to do. Those are the main issues that level has. So it's like at different levels, you have different issues. And I just wanted to make sure that was clear before everybody attacks me on the internet, right?
No, I get that. And that's very understandable, right? And so let's say you are taking on a new client. How do you approach helping a business define and achieve their goals? Like, what's the process you take them through?
So my process always starts with an assessment. The assessment will allow me to see what you're really struggling with. And it generally involves 2 phases. So the first assessment is literally just a conversation and me getting a gauge of your business from your perspective. And then the second part is me going to your website, going to your social media profiles, looking at your testimonials, looking at how long you've been in business, and assessing it from a third party perspective. And then I combine those two assessments, and then I will have a general idea of what your pain points are and what's the best strategy for us to meet you where you are and help you get to where you really want to go.
Okay, good. Now you have these networking events every month.
Mm-hmm.
What type of business owners are attracted to what you do? And so I know it's networking. You're trying to find new clients, but you also have relationships, right?
Yes.
So who are the type of business owners that come to your event who gain value from what you and your team put together?
So I would say the solopreneurs and the small business owners are the ones who are generally attracted to it for different reasons, right? So my solopreneurs are attracted to it because they have that community, they have that education piece, they have that accountability within the community to help them elevate. But then my small business owners love it because generally their target clients are those solopreneurs, and also they want to increase their brand awareness across different industries, and people from all over attend my events. So those are generally the people who are attracted. And I do want to also add service-based business owners are the ones that are generally most attracted to my events. Okay. And just working with Golden Angel Management, period. We primarily work with service-based business owners.
Got it. Mm-hmm. So, and I've talked to, whether it's a business coach or life coach, I've had these different type of people on my show before. Mm-hmm. And because of the pandemic and social media, when things shut down, people were looking for ways to make money. People were leaving their jobs. So the social media has allowed people or empowered people to give themselves a title without necessarily having their credentials. Mm-hmm. So what process did you go through to make you an expert at this?
Well, my process was the harder journey, which is I had to fail forward, right? So my expertise is in operations and systems and sales. I had to get to the top 10% of the region. I had to have, in sales specifically, I had to get outside and network and shake hands and meet people and see what works and see what doesn't work, and kind of trial and error basis for what makes a business truly successful. And I've learned that over the years. So like I said, I've been working in corporate America at some capacity since I was 13. I'm 31 now. And
you just give up your age freely like that? You're supposed to keep that a secret.
I'm proud of it. I feel like I'm very young. 31 is I'm very young, although I have experienced so much to be so young. And I think that's part of my testimony as well, and my story of I got married when I was in high school. Right after high school, my 18th birthday, the next day I got married, and then I was a widow by the time I was 20. So, it was a lot of things that happened in my life. I went to college at Chicago State University. I was president of Honors College on campus. I worked with the president at the time of the university. So it's like I went through so many different things and was at so many different tables, if you will, that I was able to see leadership from a high level, mid-level, and a lower level. I've always been in leadership positions. So my expertise, my testimonials, if you will, I gained those things over the years of working with teams at a high level, and them, kind of really being my own marketing team. Most of my business for my first 2 years were referrals only. Just other people calling me saying, you helped them so great. They told me I had to call you. Please help me too. That was 100% of my business. And for the first 2 years, and we weren't even a for-profit. I was just helping people at first. So for a whole year, people called me and say that same thing. And I was like, oh yeah, I love this. Let me help you too. And didn't even charge them for it. I just love to do it. And they would just give me some money to say thank you, but it wasn't because I charged them anything. And, then going into the second year, it was just me figuring out price points, looking at data, getting coaching and things like that. So I've invested in coaching. I believe in coaching. I believe in mentorship. I believe in you having someone lift you up while you are lifting someone else up. And my expertise is in I mean, I know they say the proof is in the pudding, right? So, you know, we have 45 5-star ratings on Google and Facebook for my company. I've helped plenty of business owners across different industries, and I always say business doesn't change. So I teach things that are the same across all industries, which is the 6 parts that all businesses have. No matter what business, whether you're a nonprofit, you're for profit, or just a church organization, you're going to have the same 6 parts, which is your mission, vision, values, and purpose, or what I call your MVP.
Is that you or me? I'm
No.
wondering.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay. Can you see me?
I can see you too.
Okay.
And you're
I was like, we
moving.
had a technical difficulty for a second, but you know what? The devil is a lie. We're going to get this message on. Okay. So
That's right.
these 6 parts, you have your mission, vision, values, and purpose, which is what I call MVP, no matter what business you have. And you talked about it, which was like, man, did he know what I was going to say? Right on point. We all have it. And then the second part is your team, right? You need a team to grow a business at a high level. And then the third part is issues, right? We all have issues, whether you're Amazon at a large level, or you're just a startup company where it's just you and you wear all the hats. You're going to have some issues. And then the third part that all businesses have is processes. We all have a process that we follow in order to deliver on a promise to our target clients. No matter what the process is, it's something, because they're paying you to deliver some type of service or product. And then the 5th part is data. We all have data in our business. Now, whether you know your data or not is a whole different thing, but you have the data. And if you follow the data, then the business is going to grow much faster, right? And then the last part is your growth rate, the rate at which the business is growing or not growing, right? We all have that. So are we on target with the projections that we made when we started the company, or are we not? That's another thing, but you still have a rate at which you're growing or not growing. So we all have those 6 parts, and I just make sure that I help you and hold your hand as a business owner on making sure that we can go through all 6 of those parts with intention, and that we're actually meeting our outcomes. And that's it.
That's pretty awesome. And I want to comment, because you said that every business has, if we think about like a recipe, because I was going to comment, and some of the mentors that I have who don't know who I am, but I consistently follow them on YouTube or whatever, but they say success, and we're talking about from a business standpoint, success leaves clues.
Always.
So if you are willing to follow that recipe that has been laid out, no matter, almost doesn't really matter almost what the industry is, but there's a certain way that you do things. And if you skip steps, you're more than likely gonna fail. It might not be tomorrow, it might not be 5 years from now, but at some point you're gonna hit a wall. So success leaves clues. That's the first thing I wanted to say. But then in this, what do you think are some of the most important qualities or skills that a business person must have to be successful as a business owner or an entrepreneur?
Well, I call these the 5 things that you have to master, right? It's the things that if you don't master these, then you're gonna have some more challenges in growing your business. And the first, thing,
you're giving me coaching right now. You know that, right?
I can't turn it off. That's why that's why everybody calls me Coach Angel. I'm a coach in every room, like every time. I just can't turn it off. But that's good, right? Now you can share, right? The first thing that you got to master is self-awareness, right? You have to master yourself, because you are the leader of the company. You set the foundation and standard for everybody else on your team. So you have to know you got to know your strengths, what areas you still need further growth in, how are you motivated best, or how you learn best. You need to know your fears, all of it, right? And then the second thing you have to master is decision making. You have to be decisive. So you have to be able to assess what's going on in your business and be decisive on how you're going to solve the problems, because we all know there's going to be some problems when you grow in this business, right? So you have to be decisive. And then the third thing you have to master is understanding other people, right? Because you're going to be working with other people. Like I said, solopreneurship is great, but it's not going to be where you must stay if you want to scale your business. You must build a team. And as it relates to that, you have to be able to understand others in terms of meeting them where they are. You have to understand that they have different perspectives, different opinions, different beliefs, and it's still your job as the CEO and founder to meet them where they are and develop a mutually beneficial relationship to truly grow the business. And so that's the third thing you got to master. Then the fourth thing you must master, there's 5 things that I swear by. You have to master getting and keeping a competitive edge, or you won't stay in business. You need to understand why people should work with your business. Why should they come to you for that problem that you solve instead of someone else? Because there's rarely any new ideas. So most likely there's someone else that solves the same problem you solve, right? For your target customer. So you have to master getting and keeping a competitive edge in your industry. And then the last thing you have to master if you really want to grow your business is self-accountability, because this business is only going to grow to the level you grow as a person. So personal development and professional development work hand in hand for you to truly elevate your business. And those are the 5 things that I coach on specifically to say, you must master these things in order for me to help you to truly elevate this business. Because if you don't, then you're going to be wasting both of my time.
I'm going to tell you, you're saying some very powerful stuff here. And I was writing some things down. And first, decision making.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't always this way,
Mm.
but, and I don't know if it's just professional and personal growth,
Mm-hmm.
but I have, and I don't even want to say it's a skill, but I know if I have to make a decision,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, let's make it now.
Right.
Because I'm taking action versus contemplating over 4 or 5 things I could do and delaying the action. Because I know, okay, I go, and if it doesn't work out, I can come back. I know that doesn't work. Now let me try this, but I've taken action.
Yes.
And so now I'm even talking to my son who's 7. And it's as simple as I'm making his breakfast because I help him get ready for school.
Right.
I'm like, okay, so what do you want for breakfast? Oatmeal or cereal? He'll say, first he'll go, he's thinking. I'm like, dude, it's 2 choices.
Decisive.
Choose one. You like both. You had this one yesterday. Today, let's switch it up. Or if he says, I want oatmeal, I say, what flavor? Make a choice.
Yeah.
You want strawberry, blueberry, just pick one. You like them both. The same thing is with cereal. So I'm trying to form that habit with him now.
To be decisive.
Let's just make a decision right now. Because you're wasting time trying to decide what you want. You could have had your breakfast. You could have watched a couple of videos, and now we're ready for school. But the longer it takes you to make that decision, you're taking time away from other things that you could be doing.
Yeah. Time,
So
and
that's
then you
number
teach
1.
them time management too.
Absolutely. Number 2 is the value of learning how to sell. Why do you think, and I kind of know why, because it has a negative connotation to it. Why do you think most people are afraid of sales? Whether they don't want to be sold or they don't want to go into the field of sales.
Well, I think it's a combination of things, but I'm going to go with my top 3 reasons, right? So, of course, like you said, the first one is always going to be the image and picture of what people believe salespeople are or who they are, right? So that's the first. They're like, oh no, I know people think salespeople are, grimy, not trustworthy, shady, shisty, whatever, right? So that's the first reason. They're afraid of the perception of what sales is and what and who a salesperson is in the minds of other people, and sometimes even in themselves. And that leads me to number 2. It's their lack of confidence in who they are. So they have some type of misalignment with who they are and the value they bring, and being able to portray that in the marketplace for a profit. So that's the 2. That's the second thing. It's like lack of confidence in themselves. And the third thing is lack of confidence in the other person that they're trying to sell this thing to. They a lot of times, I call it counting other people's money. We're counting other people's money. If I'm selling $100,000 product, I'm like, oh, nobody's gonna buy this $100,000 product. It's because you wouldn't buy this $100,000 product.
Right.
That doesn't mean you're counting other people's money, and that's holding you back from truly being successful. So I think those are the top 3 reasons why people don't like to go into sales.
Okay. And I have another thing I want you to comment on, and I've heard this. And for me, when the first couple times I heard it, I'm like, what do you mean? How do you do that? But so let's say, for example, in our business, you know, there are people who are making $10,000 a year, $50,000 a year. There are some who have built multiple distribution outlets. They have teams all over the country, and now they're at 500, 750, $1 million a year.
Yeah.
They will say in coaching others who are trying to get there, you can't be the person that you are today to be that person that makes $1 million a year.
Exactly.
Like those are 2 different people.
2 different people. Yeah.
So have you had those type of conversations with your clients, and how do those conversations turn out? How do they go?
Absolutely. I have them with every single client. And I tell them that because, I say that because I know in order for us to grow this business to where they truly desire for it to be, they have to experience a transformation. They can't even be the same person they are with me that day than they will be, in 12 weeks. Because the success that we're going to have in 12 weeks, you can't be the same person that got us to where we are today. So I have it with every single customer. And I believe that it is both literal and
figurative.
Yeah, figurative.
Absolutely.
It's true.
And, I think it's tough because it is so true. But if you've been the same person for the last 20 years with the same habits, like how do you break through that wall where you transform where people are like, wow, you're a totally different person?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
That is so true. And I honestly, as a coach, as a business coach, especially because most people know we were traditionally called business consultants, but I believe that business consultants and business coaching, they have this difference. Although it's very similar, the distinction is a coach is going to hold you accountable and push you to another level. A consultant is going to just consult you and tell you what to do and what method you should follow to get a certain outcome, right? So as a coach, I literally tell every single one of my clients before they give me any money that I have 4 requirements in order for you to work with me. 1, you must be fun to work with. And I define fun as disciplined and committed. That's it. Because if you're not disciplined, and I define both of them. So discipline is knowing what you want now and what you want most, and keeping what you want most in the front of your mind, even when what you want now is on your behind. That's what I define as discipline. And commitment is, I'm glad you do. You can definitely take it. And commitment is doing what you said you were going to do, even after the mood you said it in is no longer there. Because everybody's motivated and excited when we first started, like, oh, Coach Angie, you gonna help me grow this business? I'm so excited. I can't wait to get started, girl. Like, yeah, okay. Well, you remember that you said this in week 4 when you really upset, because comfort is a great place, but nothing is going to grow there. And in order for me to truly give you the results you want, you're going to have to be uncomfortable. And they're like, okay, you told me this. And whenever we go through it, I say, remember those 4 things? That's the first thing. You got to be fun to work with. Second thing, you have to have focus. There is no such thing as fractured focus in my 12-week program, right? You have to focus on the one business, and that's it. Don't tell me about anything else. We're doing this one thing, this one business. The third requirement is that you make your payments on time. I don't like sending people to collections. They don't like being sent to collections. My attorneys will draft a letter. It's all like, let's just avoid all of that, right? So make your payments on time. I don't want to have to be hounding you. You don't want to be hounded. Let's just make this a win-win situation, right? And then the last thing is you must be very intentional about sticking to a time frame that you are going to stick to for your homework. Because of course I have homework every single week. So as long as you make those 4, the time commitment, you're going to put in that time and effort. You're fun to work with, being disciplined and committed. You're going to be focused on one business, and you are going to make your payments. We're going to rock and roll, and you're going to be happy as ever that you work with Golden Angel Management.
That is awesome. So as we start to wind up, I have 2 more things to ask you about. Okay. So the way we met a few months back, and this is all part of the number 1 is giving back, but also number 2, because by career, I'm an educator. I mean, I was in higher education for 17 years. So being in the classroom and having students and coaching, if you will, is in my blood. And so we both met at an event in Chicago, working with a group of kids who are part of the NAACP, right? What does it mean to you to be able to give these valuable tools to young people? Like we had kids in our classroom who were, in high school, but they were anywhere from, a freshman in high school to a senior. So these are very important tools that we're trying to give them. And although they may not have gotten everything that day, we planted some seeds. So what does that mean to you?
It means everything to me. Literally, being impactful in my community is a core value of mine. I have 5 core values: intention, integrity, impact, influence, and income. And the impact is where we can give back and truly say that we've made a positive difference or positive change in the lives of someone else. And I believe that starts with the youth. So for me, it was like nostalgia, because I was that 13-year-old in that class with fishing buddies, and I was looking up at a facilitator and they were pointing to me. So I just feel like this is just what we're supposed to be doing, is, giving back.
That's awesome. And Kenya, because you made a comment that day, but you talked about, we were talking about your circle, like you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And you talked about having a personal board. Yeah, talk about that real quick. Who should those 5 people be?
So your core 5 people, first starts with your golden you. This is somebody 10 to 20 years older than you, and they are the picture of success for what you deem as successful. Then the second person is your coach or your mentor, someone who is where you want to be in a certain area of your life. Maybe they're a successful business owner in your industry that you want to have a successful business in. They can help you get the resources, the knowledge that you need to elevate you to where that is, right? So you have that second person is your coach or mentor. The third person is your peer. This is someone on your same level. You guys probably make the same amount of money. You probably want to do the same thing, and you have the same level of problems. So they are the person to help remind you that you're sane, you're not crazy, your feelings are valid in this space, right? And that's their purpose, right? They're your peer to talk to on that same level. Then you have your mentee. This is someone that you're helping to elevate, because you have your mentor or coach to help elevate you. Well, you need to have an arm down, pulling someone else up to get to your level, because whatever level you're at, someone wishes they were where you are. They wish that they had what you had right now. And so you are that for them to help them elevate. They're going to keep you accountable. They're going to keep you humbled, because they are where you used to be. And now you're out of that space into the higher space. So they have a dual purpose: to motivate you to keep moving forward, but then also to humble you, to keep reminding you that you aren't, don't get too big headed, right? So that's that mentee. And then the last person is your spiritual guide, right? This is someone who has your best interest at heart, who can pray for you like nobody's business, and can keep you in alignment with your core values. This is the person that's going to say, I Mr. Rayford, this ain't you. You wouldn't make that decision. You wouldn't do that, right? This is I'm seeing what you're doing. I'm seeing the moves you're making. We need to go ahead and come back to center, right? So that's your spiritual guide. Not saying that you all, whoever your God is, not saying they have to be a certain religion, but the main thing I want you guys to take away from the spiritual guide: have to have your best interest at heart, and they have to keep you in alignment with your core values.
That is awesome. So last question: where do you see Golden Angel Management? I mean, what's the big picture? What is that goal? And when we, at least from my perspective, when we talk to people who want to get into our business or become entrepreneurs, like, you got to have a why and a big vision. Yes. Right. Mm-hmm. What is that untouchable but you know you're going to get there if you continue to work hard and grow and develop. What is that thing for you and for your company?
So for me and my company, it's lowering the poverty rate by 10% by 2035. That's our big goal. And we know we can only accomplish that goal if we work with business owners to scale their businesses and hiring people at higher wages. That's our
Oh,
big
that
goal.
you right to it.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Right
we go
to
over
it.
this in our team meeting every single week. So
That is awesome. I will tell you, this has been an awesome conversation. And I know we have now developed a friendship.
we have.
Um, I definitely want to work with you more in the future because I definitely want to, and I've got a couple things on my mind already, but I mean, especially work with the young people,
Mm-hmm.
but then also from a business perspective as well. So we will be talking again. So
Okay.
I appreciate you being a guest on Word for Word. My name is Michael Rayford. This is Coach Angel, founder of Golden Angel Management. Thank you for being on the show. I appreciate you. And if you hold on for a second, I'm going to stop the recording and then I'll come back and we'll chat for a second. Okay.
Okay. Sounds.
All
Thank
right.
you for having me.
You're very welcome.